Okay, so today I've been out and about in the community and I came up with an idea. I got a moment of inspiration when I was out and about. And I got home and I thought to myself, that idea would work. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper. And what it is, you know, when you're growing up, you can be a bad boy and go to the back of the bus and give it big I am, be the ghetto youth, be the roughneck, the up and coming guy that people should be scared of. But at some point you're going to be looking over your shoulder 24/7. And at some point you might want to rewind. So sometimes, think about the consequences before things get a little bit shifty and crazy. And the moral to this lesson is, you don't always have to be the bad guy. Sometimes it's better to be the smarter guy. Nobody likes living in a gangster's paradise and it's not made up to be what it's meant to be. So don't follow the people on the TV and these movies, they probably don't want to be in that life half the time. We all have problems. So the moral is, when you're young, if you're having trouble and you're having to prove yourself, why don't you prove yourself with books and goals, education, find a way of empowering yourself to make a better community around you, make a better life for the people you care for, and most importantly, make a better life for yourself so you can live a good future. And all the bad guys will tell you that's probably the best route to take, because at some point they're going to want to rewind. And we all make good choices and bad choices, and you can't control that, you can't stop it, there's no point even trying. I'm just here to say, there'll be a crossroads, and when you get to that crossroads, I just want to give you a few choices to make, or maybe more than a few choices, depending on what way you're looking at it, what angle you look at it from. And if you can give the kids better choices to make, then that might be the difference between a family not grieving and a family grieving. Okay, and that's deep, but it's factual life, and it's everywhere you go. It's real. And so the moral of the story is, if you're having trouble and you're having to prove yourself with education, books and goals. I got to a point in my life where I used to get on the bus and people try and provoke you, because that's just a game that people play, because a lot of people try and prove themselves. There's bad people everywhere you go. There's crazy people everywhere you go. There's nutters everywhere you go. But, people, they always have to try and prove themselves all the time. And sometimes you've got to take a backward step and say, well, it's easy to get up and punch him in the face, but then what's that going to achieve? Nothing. It's not law-abiding. And in today's world, law-abiding is a smart way. Because if you're not law-abiding, when you get to a point where you realise what you want to do, and you want to be a doctor, you want to work in a school, you want to work with vulnerable people because it empowers you and you've found your purpose, that stuff ain't going to help you. So don't follow the bad influences. Figure it out for yourself. Learn to think for yourself. So if you have to, keep your ass downstairs. Don't go upstairs to the back of the bus. Don't go to the back of the bus. Get a book. Get a magazine that will improve your common ground knowledge. It could be a book on rugby. I used to read Rugby World to college, and I would just read the book because I didn't care what happened around me, because that's just the illusion. It doesn't matter. It's going to come and go. You've got problems to solve and you've got people to deal with, personalities, but it's just an illusion, because they might be here 1 minute, but they've got their own problems and they come and go. And that's their problems. So don't take all them problems on board, unless it's something to do with your purpose that you find. And so you read it, you get the knowledge. So when you go to the rugby clubs, or you talk to people that want to talk about rugby, you get to talk to the right people at the right time. You connect with the conversation for the right reasons. And the right reasons might take you to the golf club, where you meet someone that's associated with a rugby club, and then that might help you in other areas. But you're improving yourself to improve your situation. The more you read, the more ideas you got. So don't be shy of that stuff. And goals. Who's to say you can't just write your goals down on your phone? Or just on a card on a piece of paper? You know, in some areas you'll go to and kids, they can't have a mobile phone because that mobile phone could get taken for whatever reason. And that's the harsh realities of living in certain areas. But you just have to work with your resources. But who's to say that the books and the goals can't help you get a better education, get a job where you can work for yourself at some point, but still make a difference and be a genuine law-abiding citizen? And who's to say them books and goals can't help you help other people, pull other people through and inspire them? You know, your situation doesn't have to be fixed. If you grow with things, use books, knowledge, goals. Education is a wonderful thing if you know how to use it, if you're prepared to use it. Because we're all going to pay a price. We're going to learn hard lessons. Either learn later on in life when you think, I wish I could go back now and rewind. Or you're going to go through emotions and you're going to feel good and bad days. And we all have good and bad days, good and bad weeks. I don't care who you are. It's factual. It happens. Deal with it. Learn. And learn more about your mistakes and be constructive with it. And so the moral of the story again is, if you have to get on the bus and there's a load of bad boys trying to prove themselves, just watch from an angle. Keep out the way. Read your books. Follow your goals. Find your way of doing it. And, you know, there's no reason to be at the back of the bus trying to prove yourself. Because, you know, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's all I've got to say about that. So thank you. When you're on the bus, read books, goals, magazines, common ground. Get with it, mate. It's just an idea. Keep out of trouble.